Good evening, Bahamas. On the broadcast tonight, a cabinet minister defends government's verification process for the public service. Plus, how one small business is shedding light on solar energy in the Bahamas. And one member of parliament talks about new initiatives for his constituency.
Our news is brought to you by Alive, the nation's newest and best LTE network.
Good to be alive.
Welcome to our news, the weekend edition, and thanks for joining us. I'm Andrew Nold. A cabinet minister is defending the Minutes administration's decision to launch a verification exercise that will require everyone in public service, from members of parliament to civil servants, to verify they work in that sector. Education Minister Lloyd recently slammed those who criticized the process. Our Jasmine Brown has the details.
The overarching point that is being made by the government is we are going to verify who it is that works for us in those respective departments, so that those who may not, even though they may be on the register, who may not in fact be employed because they have died or they have retired or they have resigned, will be known to the public service. And there can be a record with integrity of that which, is the employment, quotient of the country.
Earlier this month, a public treasury letter revealed that the government is mandating all of its employees to take part in the verification process. People who fail to be verified will have their salaries interrupted from September 2017 until they comply with the verification and reinstatement process. The letter noted that all monthly and weekly employed public officers in the Bahamas, including people living overseas, senators, and members of parliament, are required to participate. Lloyd says it's no secret that there were abuses in the system under successive governments, and the Minutes administration is only trying to fix that.
I don't think it is any news that we have had a deficiency in the management of our personnel to the degree and extent that there has been some abuse of the system. Well, we are a government of accountability and transparency, and we are going to bring to the benefit of the Bahamian people a discipline and a competencies to our respective portfolios and the ministry, the public service at large, as to exactly what people are investing in by way of salaries and compensations, which, as you know, is a huge bill for this country. And we've got to get a handle on every expense, including the human resource component.
The government began its employee verification exercise on Tuesday. Deputy Prime Minister Peter Turnquest said this week there are a few kinks that still need to be worked out. Reports of long lines and confusion over which documents were needed topped the list of concerns, says Turnquest. Lloyd says there were also issues with education workers who were unclear whether they fell under the Ministry or Departments of Education.
That information is now being better dispensed so that there could be a clear understanding and transmission of what is required.
The verification process ends August 31st. Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Following allegations that 4 cabinet ministers, including the Prime Minister and a National Security Minister, received death threats in recent weeks, Tourism Minister Dionisio de Aguilar says he agrees that it should neither stop or hinder the work of government.
The Minister of National Security would have spoken to this, and his position was clearly they're not paying this any mind. They have a job to do. That's to enforce the law and to let the law go in the manner in which it does. Gladly, no one has put a death threat against Dionisio de Aguilar yet. I guess tourism isn't that sensitive. So, I don't know whether those threats are grounded in fact or in fiction.
De Aguilar says government is already seeing positive change in the public sector.
I think what it's doing, though, it's causing everybody in the public sector to refocus on doing things right. I think there's a clear message being pushed down through anyone engaged in any type of interaction with the government. It's not business as usual, and you are expected to maintain a higher standard.
The tourism minister added that while he hasn't received any death threats, he is listening to the advice of the Prime Minister and staying out of it.
I'm trying to stay as far away from that whole as we have been instructed to do from that whole process, and let it take the course that it does. We have, as cabinet ministers, we have no idea what is happening in that area, and that's the way it should be. And when you hear about it on WhatsApp is when I hear about it on WhatsApp. So, and that's the way it should be. I'm not interested in getting into the minutiae or detail of it. Let the police do their job. Let the chips fall where they fall, and I'm sure people, if I were to do something, they would say the same about me. So,
Meantime, officers are investigating yet another traffic fatality here on the streets of the capital. Police say it was shortly after 3 p.m. yesterday when a man was walking on Cowpen Road near Somerset Estates when a rolling propane gas truck that was delivering gas to a home struck him. The man was pronounced dead on the scene. Investigations are ongoing. The Bahamas ranking 25th out of 32 nations in the Inter-American Development Bank's Ease of Doing Business report for 2017. One Bahamian entrepreneur is seeking to turn those figures around and make clean energy a way of life in the Bahamas. Our Christina McNeil has the details in this report.
A January 2017 report by the Inter-American Development Bank indicates that the Bahamas has the highest energy cost in the Caribbean, except for Grenada and Dominica, with an average of 2.2 power outages per month, the second highest in the region. The report states that Bahamian businesses lose approximately 1.5% of sales due to power outages. But Darius Johnson, the recent recipient of an investment from the investment group, says his company is ready to tackle the country's high energy costs head on and do something about one of the greatest challenges facing businesses in the Bahamas.
As a country, we have been experiencing these challenges for decades, with no tangible change or improvement in reducing our reliance on fossil fuels and being subject to fluctuating fuel prices. As a young Bahamian engineer, I am not just adding my voice to the conversation. Global Energy Solutions is here to say that we can address the challenges with clean energy.
The IDB report concludes that the Bahamas ought to take an approach that would reduce energy costs and disruptions. That's the direction Johnson says the Bahamas should be heading in, with an abundance of natural resources that make clean energy readily accessible.
According to the world map and global sunlight, the Bahamas sits on the second highest tier among nations, clocking over 3,000 hours of exposed sunlight per annum. To put this into perspective, this is more than double some of the cities in Europe, where they are generating more than 20% of their energy demands using solar and other renewables. It is clear in my mind and in the technological circles that we can power our nation using solar, reduce the billion-dollar fossil fuel import, we can eliminate our carbon footprint, reverse the environmental degradation, create thousands of jobs in the clean energy sector, stabilize our power generation, spin a new economy, retool, retrain, and redeploy our labor force, and we can meet the demands of a growing economy by bringing down the cost of doing business.
Johnson maintains that alternative energy cannot wait, with climate change threatening small island states such as the Bahamas. And he adds that he would like to see the Bahamas government lead the way and set an example for clean energy solutions in the country.
Our vision is to see the government lead the way in going solar. As simple as taking our street lights off the grid can save millions of dollars being paid and create hundreds of jobs and business expansions for private contractors and installers. I believe that the Office of the Prime Minister, government ministries, and public buildings can be solarized through a phased undertaking.
The government has indicated that it is giving consideration to the short and long-term power demands of the country, with the aim to improve the efficiency of supply and make it more affordable. Reporting for our news, I'm Christina McNeil.
All right, thanks, Christina. Well, we'll take a break here, but still ahead tonight. The youngest member of parliament talks about big plans for his constituency. That story and more when our news returns.